As Julie said, I'm Julian from Pegasus, and I'm going to show you a whirlwind demonstration and some information about our AP automation system. We've got half
hmm
an hour. This can normally take a while. So the one thing to bear in mind, if you want to see more afterwards, just let Julia know, and we're happy to do so and go a bit more in depth for you. But our AP automation was released a few months ago now, and it's a dual development between a company called iComplete and Pegasus. And just for some stats on it, between the two of us, we have over 35,000 users using the system now. That's users, not companies. And the latest stat I got was we've got 20 million pounds worth of transactions going through the system each year. So quite impressive figures there. So the whole thing, you probably don't have a clue what it is. So I'm going to show you. It's a way of automating your purchase ledger and getting the
hmm
information directly and automatically into Pegasus SE. So at the moment, you will get no doubt invoices emailed in or posted. You'll look at those, you'll manually check the invoice to make sure they're correct. You then, if you use approval workflows, you will then go and print out that piece of paper if it was an email and put it on someone's desk and say, can you sign this or authorize this, which can take a while and you're chasing, etc. And then once that's done, you then sit in front of your Opera system and type the details in and doing the coding in nominal ledger and
hmm
your purchase ledger codes and things like that. And then it gets automated then because it updates your supplier records and then you can decide how you're going to pay it. So the
hmm
idea behind this system is you can get the supplier to automatically email in the invoice to you. It's picked up automatically by the system. It's scanned automatically, and you can also scan if you get one through the post. You can scan that and forward it to that email as well. Automatically validates that invoice for you, so checks that it is the right customer, etc., etc., etc. You can set up a workflow approval, which goes through automatically with nudges, etc. And someone just goes on the system and press yes, that's fine. Um, and then once all done and approved, it then automatically posts into Opera. So saves you typing it in and speeds things up for you. And then you go into it and updates the supplier in the account and you do your normal payment processes from there. So normally I'll go into a demo and show all of this, but because we're only at half an hour, I want to picked up a slide. So as I said, it's email, PDF. Any emails that come in that from a supplier will be picked up and forwarded into the system. You have your own unique email address that goes in that you can provide to suppliers. And basically the system does the rest. So it will pick up PDFs, Word, Excel, things like that. Any language. It's not great on hieroglyphics and things like that. Chinese and stuff like that can be a bit tricky, but it'll give it a go. But any language, any currency. And if a supplier sends, for example, 20 invoices on one PDF, the system is good enough to be able to identify that and split them off and treat them as individual invoices for you. So it's AI powered invoice header and the lines captured for you as well. And it'll also capture any attachments to that email, or if there's a bit of text in the email that says we're moving, we've changed our address or our bank details or something like that, it will also save that into the system for you to look at as well. There's a number of checks in there, so duplicate invoice checking. So people aren't going to be able to get away with sending you two invoices and they go on the system and you pay them twice. And if you hold the bank details of your suppliers within Opera, it will also do a check to see if the bank details are different on the invoice compared to what you've got in Opera. So you can make a phone call and see what's going on here. It will also then, as the system sets up, it will automatically pick up um, your nominal coding, supply codes. If you use departments and projects, advanced nominal, it will do all that for you. And the stat we've got is that it reduced time by up to 90% on that, increasing accuracy, productivity. You can always check where an invoice is in the system at any one time, so you know where you are. And everything that's captured, so all your supplier invoices, the documents, any email notes, etc., are all stored and attached against the record, so you can go back for as long as you want to review those documents. In terms of the workflow, I've been trying to break it, but I've not been able to. So for approvals, as it said, sales speed, dynamic, multi-step approval workflows. So you can actually set it up, and I would normally go through and show this, but I won't have time. It is to, normally the one is if it's over a certain amount, say £1,000, it needs to go to the finance director or the MD to authorize. You can set all those up, but you can also set it up so if you do projects, and it's a specific project, you can send it to the person who's in charge of that project for approval, or whatever you want. You can do group approvals, as many parallel approvals as you want, and as complex as you'll ever need, to be fair. So you can have as many steps through that approval process as you want. We'll talk about the simple approvals on any device in a little while. And obviously, people aren't great at approving things sometimes. You can set up nudges and emails to automatically send them to go, you have these to approve. Can you please get on with it? Benefits, one centralized place to view all the invoices. So you've got all those. It's all in real time at that point as well. 90% efficiency gains. Some strange spaces in here. Speeds up those approvals. Probably the biggest one, and this is a research fact, supposedly. So process an invoice for this system for as little as 40p per invoice, as opposed, so it's all calculated on labour and effort and all this sort of thing and time, as opposed to £14.50 per paper invoice or up to that amount. So that's your cost savings straight away. With the duplicate invoice check and the bank check, you're reducing and preventing fraud through the system. And obviously you can go paperless on your suppliers and your invoices from there. So let's have a quick look at the system. So let's log in. This is a live demo. There's no pictures involved here. So this is AP automation. I've got it set up in Edge, but you can run it in Chrome or any Internet Explorer or anything like that you wish to. It's hosted on Azure. It's obviously all secure and backed up, and your data is there for as long as you want it. There's no storage limits at all. So it's all there. As you can see in front of you, I've got the whole system at the moment, and there's a bit of trial stuff in here as well, so you can ignore a bit of it. Here we've got the really snappy short email address where the supplier is supposed to send emails into. It won't be that long for yourselves. Credits, it's sold per number of users and also, or named users, and also then you purchase credits. I think it's £290 for 1,000, and a credit is every invoice that goes through the system. So that's not a bad price for that. And it gives you a count and whatever. And if you're going to run out, it will warn you and we'll know anyway. So if I look quickly, the time, first of all. So we look at the invoices. So this is the main thing for accounts payable. A number of trays, we call them trays. So the supplier emails in the invoice. You can set it up and the system will learn using AI, and it's using OCR to scan that invoice in. It will pick up on supplier defaults basically for nominals, and if there's line items, what they should be. So after time, it should just be able to run through and learn, if it's for Tetra drive, it's computers, it will code those automatically. So it won't sit in the unprocessed tray, because you can actually set it to go directly for approval if you want to. If you don't use approvals, you can actually just get it to automatically post into SE. So this tray is the unprocessed. So they've come in and the system's gone, well, there's something missing from here. There's quite a few there because it's a demo system. But if we look at the top one, click on it, and basically it tells you what's wrong with it. Supplier type requires a value. So there's no supplier type defaulted onto this invoice or for that supplier, which we would normally do. So there's a number of ways of doing this. The first one, we can click edit, and we can go, right, so it's highlighted red. We've got the invoice copy there, and we'd also have any other documents that were attached. And we go, no, it actually hasn't picked up the supplier. It will do. It's just I've done this for demo purposes. So it is Technodrive computers. And it's saying, well, if it's Technodrive, you've set up defaults that the cost center is there, department and supply codes are those. Do you want to accept those? Yes, I do. Thank you very much. And it has no supplier type in there. I'm just going to pick whatever. And I can save that. So that's actually amended that one. And you can see it's gone away now because that's it's all ready to go. It's all no errors on it. And I can click submit to put it through to the workflow, to the approvals. Got a number of workflows there. I'm just going to do AP. And you'll see why in a minute. And it automatically goes straight to the next invoice that's supplied and go, oh, what do you want to do? What's wrong with it? There's a PO issue on that. We won't go to that. Let's go back to the grid. So we've submitted Technodrive one there. So the AP automation operator will know that's been submitted for approval. They won't see awaiting approval. I've just set it up so I'm an approver as well. So I'm someone else now. Pretend I'm someone else. I come in and I've got an email to say, you need to approve this. They go, oh, it's that one there, Technodrive. Let's click on there. Let's have a look. So we can click on that, show the invoice, etc. Looks okay. We can also look at the timeline on it to say who raised it, what's the overall figures on it, and what stage it is on the approval workflow. I can also edit it at that point as well if I want to make some changes, or I can deny and send it back to say, no, I don't agree with that. We've been charged too much, or it's coded wrong, or something like that. And I can deny with a comment. I can also approve the comment, but I'm just going to approve that. And there we are. It's gone through for approval. Other one? Yes, it is. So that's approved. And that will then go through the system and post automatically into Pegasus itself. And then we can move on to other ones. The other one I wanted to show you, is that a good one to show? Yeah. So I went through and edited each one. Didn't really need to do that. We've got a quick action. So that's saying there's an alert, need a supply code there. Click on the quick actions. We need a supply code. We're happy that each line needs to be, no, we'll just do that one. Highlight all the lines, click apply, and it's moved on to the next invoice again. So that's right, and then we could submit that if we wanted to. Just wanted to check, come out the wrong way there. So this line here, this little circle you can see screen, it's going, right, we're trying to put that into SE. It may take a little while. Now, if for any reason it fails on the transfer it into the account system, you will get a alert in here. So this isn't the same one, it's a different invoice, but that's been rejected. And click on that and it gives me a reason. There was no supply code on that. Still clicking around. The other box on there is denied, so that will come in. The approvers said, no, we're not having that. That will come in for someone to review. And you can also delete the invoices if you wanted to on that. Let that go through and come back to that because that's taken a little bit of time for some reason. Any one point, as suppliers are invoicing, sending the email and their invoices in, they go through the system picks them up in the back end, so you can't see what's happening, and just reads them OCR, does the coding, etc. for you. With this invoices extracting, that shows you that they're in the system, so you'll have an invoice from Technodrive or Crown or Adams Light Engineering or someone like that will be in there, so you can see which ones have yet to hit your system, the value of those, and where they are in the process. There's always lots of areas you can see on that. There's multiple configuration stages and setup, but I'm not particularly going to go through these because it takes quite a time to go through them. There's notifications, custom fields you can set up. So if you want to report on other areas, that's where you create the workflows. So if I click on that one, add on that, select users or user group, applied criteria, and we can say add a criteria. And you can choose, as I said, if it's anything with a surcharge on, you can send it to somebody different, or different geographical areas or cost centers, departments, things like that, and the workflow will split off and go and do that for you. Let's go and see if this is posted. Yes, it has. So that's given me a journal number into Opera. And if I quickly go into Opera, I can hopefully show you. Just standard purchase ledger. And there's that. It's that one there, 19th of the 3rd. And that's the invoice posted into SE. And the details of the nominal coding, etc., is all in there as you would normally see in your purchase ledger. What we'll also have very soon is a link against that invoice to say there's a document attached. You'll be able to click on that. It'll open AP Automation. You'll be able to view the invoice that's attached to that. So that's probably a very, very whistle-stop tour on that. So hopefully you get the idea that invoice comes in, it's all automatically coded for you, or you can alter the coding. It will pick up any errors in the coding for you to review, then goes through the approval workflow if you need it to. Once approved, it then posts into SE as you would expect. So let's go back to my. So what we've also got now, and I did this earlier because very very rough slide, is you can also access this as part of the system on your mobile phone. So you can actually do all that on your mobile, but where it really comes good is those approval workflows. So if your boss, FD, whoever is on the beach sunning themselves, but they still want to know what's going on in the business with their purchases, they can do so. They can just log on to the system on here, click on the invoices button, and then go to approvals and do the approvals whilst they're on the road or on site or on holiday or wherever they are. And you can see it's all been devised so you can see it and work. It was just on my iPhone that I was doing that, and it's very usable, to be fair. Okay, there's an add-on to this called online buying, and I won't go too much into it. So the online buying itself, so I don't know how many of you use supplier websites to go and buy things from. Seems to be within accounts departments a lack of control over those spends, really. Probably not in your companies, but in the majority of companies, where people just go on to things like Amazon Business or RS Components or any of those websites and just go and buy. They don't raise purchase orders. They don't get any approvals or things like this. So this add-on enables you to link to basically any website that has a basket. So it doesn't have to be a large, someone like Screwfix or Charles Perkins or Amazon. It can be Joe Blogs down the road who you buy all your boilers from or wire from or something like that, but you do it online. You can link to those. And basically what happens, it raises the purchase request as you would do when you go onto the website, and then puts that through a workflow as well. Places the order, emails the supplier, or on their website, gives them the order. And then when the invoice comes in, it will then match the amount, the supplier, and the line items against that order you originally raised. Again, you can then put it through the workflow, and then it will post through into Opera 3. We do have a case study on this, just a little bit. So they were losing this. It's basically holiday parks, 53 parks, and people were just ordering willy-nilly from a number of suppliers, and they had no control. Didn't know what was ordered, duplicate orders, etc. were going through. And they just streamlined the whole process for them, so they got complete control over that. I'll show you very quickly. So I've got Amazon Business set up. So what you would do is log into the system, click on Amazon Business or Joe Blogs or whoever. But that will open. I have to be careful I don't get loads of deliveries of paper here. Opens up your business account with the login that's set. And we'll do paper, and I want to order some Amazon Basics paper here. Add to basket. Proceed to checkout. This is your normal Amazon way, nothing different from what you do now. And you can say instead of buy now, it's saying submit order for approval. So I do that. And you can see that's the order that I knew that I wanted to place. So that would go off for approval, although there's no supply code on that one. So let's just do that. That's a bad one. Let's do that and submit it for approval into that one. And that worked. You go into the orders thing here, awaiting approval. It's that one there. Cost center and supply code. Are you doing on that one? Excellent. It's defaulted by that I must, it's mandatory to have a cost center against this. So, which is good. So you're not missing out any of the coding if it's not there. Just picking random ones are not really a thing. It's going to save that. It's all going wrong now. Okay, the supplier type's wrong for some reason. But, oh, there it is. There you go. So I can submit it through, awaiting approval, and I can just approve that one. And basically, as I click approve, that then goes through and it shows you on here whether it's placed the order or not, or whether there's a problem with it as well. So that's just straight away with Amazon has placed that order for you. You'll get the goods, invoice will come in, and that will match it all together. So I don't know if that's useful, but that's something we've added to the system as well for you. Hopefully that made sense. Lots of standard websites have been set up. If you're interested in this and you've got perhaps an unknown website that you use or a supplier that you use, it takes about 10 minutes for us to test to see whether it'll work or not. So it's worth doing that before you commit to any purchasing of the system or whatever. But happy to check those for you. Now, going into next phase in the next month or so, we have phase 2 of AP automation coming out. Now, this is great because if you use purchase order processing within Opera, you will be able to continue to use that, raise your purchase order as you would normally do it in SE. But then it will link into this AP automation system for approval, so you can get your purchase order approved at that stage. Place the order with the supplier. When the goods come in and the invoice comes in, it will then do the matching as you would expect, and also put stuff into stock if you use stock,